Right after the publication of Think and Grow Rich in 1937, Napoleon Hill began his manuscript for Outwitting the Devil. It was not released until 2011 because it was so controversial for the time. With the value in this book, you will discover what the devil is doing with 98% of the people. This video can help you snap out of your negative-mindedness and get you on a new and more glorious path to an even brighter, better and more rewarding future. Throughout this video, I will explain to you the 3 forces which hold the destinies of all men on earth and how you can use it to your advantage. So let's jump right in, shall we? The devil begins with the statement that he controls 98% of the people through fear. He states that the 6 most effective fears are the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age and death. However, the devil cannot entirely control any person who thinks for himself. According to Napoleon Hill's interview with the devil, because of these fears, 98% of the world's population is aimlessly drifting through life. They have a lack of goals, they're stuck, scattered and not knowing how to be productive. Look around you, look at your friends and your family, even your teachers at school. How many of them are drifting? How many of them are aimlessly drifting through life? I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. A drifter is one who doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all his time getting just that. Do you recognize someone? Maybe even yourself? I can tell you one thing, this doesn't have to happen to you. Drifting is a habit. That's why the devil calls it the habit of drifting throughout the entire book. The habit of drifting is the most destructive habit someone can possess. That's why the devil uses it to his advantage. The mind is nothing more than the sum total of one's habits. If you are unclear about what to do and why you are here, the chances are you are trapped in the invisible web of drifting, which can lead you to a life that is wasting away. If you recognize anything that I'm saying about drifting, then you might also recognize that the habit of drifting is the same as the habit of procrastination. Any habit which causes one to procrastinate, to put off reaching a definite decision, leads to the habit of drifting. Laziness plus indifference equals procrastination equals drifting. Drifting is the most common cause of failure in every walk of life. Drifting is the reason why a few people are wealthy while the majority of the people are poor. Non-drifters are those who know what they want and are determined to get just that. Non-drifters are always engaged in doing something definite, through some well-organized plan which is definite. Non-drifters have a major goal in life toward which he is always working. I like to use the excuse that I work best under pressure, but that's all it is, an excuse for why I procrastinate. Can you think of examples in your own life when laziness and indifference led you off to your path to success? When an opportunity slipped through your fingers because you were too lazy to seize it in time? What we need to do in order to stop the habit of drifting is reverse engineer this habit. We have to reverse engineer the way habits are being acquired, and then use that information to acquire habits that are on the path to success. I'm going to show you exactly how you can stop drifting, stop procrastinating and build success habits. That is going to be rule number 2, but first rule number 1, recognize the habit of drifting. Now that you recognize the habit of drifting, it is time to reverse engineer how habits and skills are being acquired. This is important to fully understand how you can turn your life around for the better, so bear with me. There are 4 steps in acquiring a new skill or habit, and the best way to describe it is to imagine yourself learning how to ride a bike. When you were a kid, there was a point in life where you didn't even know what a bicycle was. That is the first step and it's called unconscious incompetence. Then there's a point that you actually do know what a bike is and you're learning how to ride it. Probably your mother or father got you to ride a bike. Now you are competently unconscious about the bike. You're learning how to ride a bike. Eventually, you will get to the point where now you can ride the bike, but you still have to think about it. So you're consciously competent. You can ride a bicycle, but you're still a little wobbly. Then you finally get to the point where you are competently unconscious. And when you are competently unconscious, that means that you can ride this bicycle and you don't even have to think about it anymore. You can focus on other things while riding your bike. You can even look around you and talk to the person riding a bike next to you. After these 4 steps, you have acquired a new skill, riding a bike. Now, this can be applied to anything in life. whether you want to learn a musical instrument or you want to develop a new skill or habit. And this leads me to the law of hypnotic rhythm. What happens is the law of hypnotic rhythm makes these things possible. It makes it possible to be competently unconscious about something. So this can either work for you or it can work against you. How does it do that? Well, let's assume you smoke a cigarette once in a while. Over time you will develop this habit. At first maybe you've seen someone, smoking a cigarette. So maybe your friend introduces it to you. So now you start smoking. You've had one cigarette, not a big deal, right? But then you get invited to a party and have another cigarette. You go out and have a few more. Then soon enough you start smoking on a daily basis. It has now become the law of hypnotic rhythm. Like I said, this can work for you or against you, but you have to be aware of it. You can make the law of hypnotic rhythm work for you if you do positive things. For instance, you can exercise on a daily basis, you can read books. But getting rid of a bad habit after you have fully acquired it is more and more difficult as time goes by. You can say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to quit smoking, that's it, I've had enough. But what's going to happen? You might pick up the smokes again. Why? Because the power of the law of hypnotic rhythm is stronger than your desire to quit smoking. The longer you have a bad habit for, the longer it will take to get rid of it. You have to get through those initial steps in order to get rid of bad habits. Your mind will tell you things to justify your position. For instance, I'm so stressed out, I deserve the cigarette. Bullshit. Get through it and be aware of the power of the law of hypnotic rhythm and let it work for you. So rule number 2, let the law of hypnotic rhythm work for you. The habit of drifting and the law of hypnotic rhythm are both forces that are connected to one element. This element is the greatest asset of our lives. Without this element, you would not be able to control the habit of drifting and the law of hypnotic rhythm. You can make the law of hypnotic rhythm work for you and eliminate the habit of drifting and any negative habit you want with this single element. If you haven't guessed it already, then here it is. It is time. Time is the law of hypnotic rhythm. Time divides all thought habits into 2 classes. Negative thoughts and positive thoughts. Your thoughts are of course constantly changing and being recombined to suit your desires. But thoughts do not change from negative to positive or vice versa, except through voluntary effort on your part. If your dominating thoughts are negative, time penalizes you by building in your mind the habit of negative thinking and then proceeds to solidify this habit into permanency every second of its existence. Positive thoughts are, likewise, woven by time into permanent habits. Nature consolidates the dominating thoughts of people and expresses these thoughts through some form of mass action, such as building a business. So therefore the final rule, time is your greatest asset. As you have seen throughout this video, these 3 forces, the habit of drifting, the law of hypnotic rhythm and time are 3 forces which hold the destinies of all men on earth. Be a captain of your own ship and combine these 3 forces to your advantage. To summarize, recognize the habit of drifting, let the law of hypnotic rhythm work for you, and time is your greatest asset. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep reading as much as you can.